So, should this ERP project have been executed better? Let's find out together, shall we? So, what we're taking a look at here are the business requirements for a Microsoft Dynamics GP or Great Plains manufacturing company that has undergone a BC implementation of Microsoft Dynamics Business Central. I met this customer recently at a user group, and they started talking to me about how their project seemed like it was never going to deliver the results that they were hoping for. And we started talking about what type of manufacturing they did. Well, the minute they started telling me the type of manufacturing that they were into, then I was immediately able to understand that this was going to be a tough fit for BC. But since they had just gone through that entire sales process and analyzed, opinions from partners and salespeople, et cetera, they weren't ready really to, take my word for anything. Even though I've got 30 years of looking at this stuff, selecting manufacturing software, implementing and fixing bad implementations. So what we did instead is we took their core business requirements and we loaded them into our online requirements analysis tool. And here's the top line feedback. For their cumulative business requirements, there's about a 60% fit of BC to their core requirements. In contrast, there's about an 80% fit for FSCM. Now, on the surface, 60% fit could be quite good, depending on what that 40% gap is. But in this case, obviously, the devil's in the details, and what we wanted to do is, drill down into this further. So if you take a look at this and look at, generic things like, the finance area, you're going to see that, look at that difference shrinks dramatically. There's only about a 10% difference in fit of the software to core requirements. So obviously, finance is not the issue. It rarely ever is for a manufacturing company. Even for things like general system, where you're answering questions regarding here are all the things that we expect from a new cloud software implementation. You take a look at that, and your BC and FNSCM, they're dead even as far as the fit is concerned. Of course, the devil for a manufacturing company is in the details for their manufacturing, right? So let's take a look at what happens when we click on those manufacturing requirements. Here's where we see that huge disparity, that 60% fit in those key manufacturing areas versus the 98% fit. So those 40%, of that 40% difference between those could be those real critical manufacturing requirements that make the difference between you have an ideal system that's an competitive advantage in the world versus you're using spreadsheets and ISVs and you're never really happy and you're really working for the system instead of working for you. The key thing here is if you're one of those Great Plains manufacturing customers that's looking at moving to a new platform and you're convinced that BC is the route to go, you may be 100% right. But let me ask you this. Don't you think it would have made sense for this company to run this analysis ahead of time to understand that they may be unhappy or may have a failed project? And I think it should be the same for you. Do the analysis first and then decide your direction and save yourself a lot of time, money, and heartache.